Welcome back to the County Connection show for March. Sorry, our first segment dragged on a little bit longer than usual. We'll try and condense the second segment a little bit and try and hold your attention. Good luck with that. So again, I'm Scott Vargo, your host. I'm joined by Karn, Thomas, and Dan, your county commissioners. So we're going to start off with a discussion about radon. So Thomas, you want to talk about what is radon and why is that important?
So it's Radon Action Month. Radon is a naturally occurring cancer-causing gas, and we have a problem with it up here in Summit County. And so what we want you to do is get the free kit from Summit County in order to test for radon in your home. And it's best to do this during the winter months because you want to test for radon when the house is closed up in the wintertime. So the person to contact is Maya Kulik. She is the Senior Environmental Health Specialist with Summit County Environmental Health. Her number is 668-4070, and she can hook you up with one of these free test kits. Again, radon is a cancer-causing agent, and it's in a lot of our homes up here, so you really should get the free kit and get your home tested.
Yep, good. We want to jump from radon to fire mitigation. There's a new person that's been, new position that's been brought into the county government, and you want to talk a little bit about that position and, and what its role will be?
Yeah, sure. We hired Doug Cupp, and he was existing director of Summit County's Fire Authority. And so in the previous capacity, he more or less would oversee a lot of the training capacity and activities that Red, White, and Blue, Lake Dillon, and Copper Mountain Fire would all kind of team up to do together. He has tremendous wildland firefighting experience as well as structure. Comes from originally the Fort Collins area, and we're really excited to bring him on staff to be our new Summit County Wildfire Mitigation Specialist. So he'll be working very closely with our fire council, with all 3 fire districts and homeowners to really look at what we can do to make our community safer. We have our very robust grant system that we have available here in Summit County, so he'll help administer that. But I think we're very fortunate to have someone locally that knows our community, that has worked with the fire entities already, work with our fire council, and I think he's going to be just a tremendous asset for our community.
And he told you that this is his dream job, right?
Yeah, he's been really wanted to work with homeowners and look at homeowner ignition issues. He's been a real leader nationally, teaching various different classes to fire districts around the country in home ignition. And so to have someone like that we can bring on staff, I think it just really benefits everyone in our community.
We're really lucky to get him.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
Good.
And we were a little surprised that he applied, just because I don't know. It's just not that it's such a challenging job. It's very specific, and but we're very pleased to have him on board.
Yeah. Good. All right, we're going to move to our last segment, our last piece of this segment, and that is the electronics collection program that we have. And Karin, why don't you talk a little bit about how it is that we have this program now, and talk a little bit about the first event and its success, and then a upcoming event.
So our first event was January 31st, and it was overwhelmingly popular. And that is collection of the electronics. People tend to have a lot of these old large TVs stuffed away in closets and garages. So that was a lot of what we collected. We also collected pharmaceuticals. These are both any personal care products as well as narcotics that can only be collected with law enforcement there. So we were able to do both of those at that event. These are both items that we want to keep out of our watershed, and so we don't want the pharmaceuticals flushed down the toilet either, and ideally we don't want them thrown away either. We want to collect them, and they're burnt, I think, is what happens to them, but they're collected with law enforcement on staff. And the amount of tons, I want to say 100 tons something like that was collected in terms of electronics. So, because it was so popular, we have another event scheduled,
Yay.
March 14th. Mark your calendars to get more of those things out of your garages and out of our landfill. They are not allowed in the landfill, and it has been very expensive for us to deal with this stuff because we were charging people to take it, but then it was costing us much more than that to actually dispose of it. Some of it's recycled, some of it needs to be disposed of. And thank you to the voters in November for passing 1A. We do have funding to allow this program to be free for people.
Yeah.
So what time on the 14th of March?
Start at 8 again.
8
Yep.
o'clock, 8 to noon.
8 till noon?
It's back at
where?
the bus barns again, back at the bus barns, and we apologize to those people that ended up having to wait in line too long and eventually kind of drove away. We know that happened, but that's why we're doing it again, right? So,
And there'll be 2 bays this go around, so
Yeah.
there'll be collection coming from 2 lanes instead of a single lane at the bus barns, and so we should be able to
improved the
accommodate
assembly
more
line.
folks.
We've improved the assembly line.
And so if
We're hoping for more volunteers.
that's what I was gonna
Most
say,
of us will be there.
Yep. So if you have an interest in this and you'd like to volunteer, I believe that's being coordinated through High Country Conservation Center.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can certainly contact HC3 if you have an interest in volunteering from 8 until noon, or a little bit after noon, a little bit before 8 if you're going to volunteer and help out. So, all right. Anything else on that subject?
I think that's it. I mean,
Right.
it's just amazing to see how many 2 or 3 semi-truck loaded filled with electronics.
Yeah, and
It's
over
just- it's
100
packed.
pounds of pharmaceuticals
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So, those don't weigh a
Right.
whole lot. So that's a lot, getting a lot of that stuff out of people's bathrooms and avoiding that going down the toilet or the sink or whatnot.
Or
So-
into children's mouths,
Yes,
even worse.
Indeed. All right, so that's our show then for March. Thanks very much for joining us. Stick around. I'm sure that if you stick around long enough, you'll be able to see the Breck Grand Vacations Community Center and Summit County South Branch Library show as well. So stay tuned.